Good morning, David. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing just about okay because I just read the news and honest, I should just stop doing it on Monday morning. It's just such a bummer. There is nothing good.
Philly's a rough town, David. But there's some light at the end of the tunnel because today I am super happy to tell you we have a bit of a departure from our normal guest, right? So today, would you like to hear about
somebody special for me?
Would you like to hear about it?
Yes, I do.
All right, well, fabulous, because I'm very happy to tell you that today on the show we have Miss Corinna Caracci. She's actually a self-defense instructor at a company called RAD. Karina, thank you so much for being on the show. Could you tell us and tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and what you do as a self-defense instructor?
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve and David, for having me here. As a self-defense instructor, I teach people basic skills on how to become aware of their surroundings and to become more empowered by trusting their own instincts, as well as identifying if there's a situation that may not be a good one to be in. And so we teach a lot of awareness skills, and then from there, teaching some hands-on techniques in order to extract yourself from a situation if there's physical violence involved.
Wow. So this is a very different path that one would pick. And you and I have met in person. We're a different stature, and you very much impressed me. But how did you end up developing a passion for self-defense? How did you get down that path in the first place?
Yeah. Oh, thanks for asking. Definitely a passion. I work at a college campus, and on Monday morning, similar to this program, I would have reports over the weekend that said that students were harassed in some way. And unfortunately, we had to help with the aftermath of that. And I said to my colleagues, why don't we do something and be more proactive? Why don't we try to help prevent all this from happening? And they said, okay, Karina, go ahead and do it. And so it's like, that's all I had to hear. And this is 30 years later. I have multiple trainings. I've probably trained 5,000, if not more, students in self-defense. I'm actually also an instructor trainer, so I teach people how to teach the techniques. And I'm not talking about strength, I'm talking about like effective, powerful. So I really want to empower people and not to walk around afraid, but walk around knowing that if they're aware of their surroundings, if they have some techniques that they can use, and hopefully to avoid a situation if it were ever to, occur. That's kind of where my passion comes from. So I really wanted to help everyone.
No kidding. Wow. I've never taken a self-defense class. I probably should. But I mean, could you, I'm sure there's a lot, but real quick, could you maybe share with our viewers just a few of the basics, like how to get in that mindset? Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. Like I said, the first 90% of defense is awareness. And, we're talking about if the bad person wants to do something to you, the things they don't want to get hurt. They don't want to draw a lot of attention to the situation. And they certainly don't want whatever they're going to do to take a long time. So I think if people are mindful and aware of their situations and they can avoid, so I think the 90% of self-defense really is awareness and avoidance. And so we teach those skills to people, how to become aware and trust your sense of awareness. Like if that situation does not feel good, then get out of it. Obviously, paying attention would be the first thing that we talk about with our students, because I would say, unfortunately, today in our day and age, we're very distracted by a lot of things. So the bad person who wants to aggress upon us usually notices that and then, uses that as a good target for them. So really key.
Do you have any tips for basic tips for increasing awareness, and like how do you get your mind to do that? How do you think about increasing awareness? We all think that we're pretty much aware. Like, how would you increase that?
That's a good question. I would say that your personal safety is your own responsibility. And so I usually encourage students in the class to think about their own lives and how they could change maybe one thing that makes them safer. And I really believe that in 21 days, you can change a habit. So you start doing something over and over, and then you change your habit. And so part of it would really be like self-reflection. I would ask, tell me some of the things that you do. One key thing, speaking of keys, is where do you have your keys? Are they in your pocket? Are they in a purse? Are they in a bag? Are they somewhere where you don't have access to them? Chances are, if you're not paying attention, someone notices that, and it could be just, looking for keys in a bag. So I show a really quick technique where you can hold your keys in your hand, you know where they are, and then you can use that as a weapon if need be. I think David saw that the last week. And
Yeah, on that, Karina, you're referring to the Conquer and Connect conference from the CAI chapter of New Jersey that we attended a couple of weeks ago. So I'm walking into this conference room where Corinna is teaching a class, and 5 minutes later, I'm a prop in the self-defense lesson, which is, here's my comment from the beginning, that I'm 6 foot tall and you're about a foot shorter, and I am scared of you. I'll tell you that. So the conference was definitely geared towards property managers. So why would you say self-defense is a skill maybe to have, or increasing awareness when it comes to the dangers surrounding some of these professionals?
Sure. I would say that they're all transferable no matter who you are and what situation you're in. Just more of one, having a plan, knowing where your exits are at all times, knowing that if you had to get out of a situation, where are you going? How are you getting there? Is it feasible for you to run there? Just always to escape. I would say that our main goal in any confrontation is to survive and to get away, safely. And then obviously to report to authorities that had happened. I probably like the biggest skill I would try to help students with is to trust their own instinct. If something doesn't feel right, then chances are it's not, and to get out of a situation if it is. We talk a lot about strangers as opposed to someone we know potentially being an aggressor toward us. So really recognizing the signs of someone not treating us well at all, whether they're a stranger or someone we know, and to give yourself permission to leave that situation for your own safety and for your own, empowerment.
I'm sure that the skills that you could learn, especially after 30 years, you never really stop learning. But if you're somebody like me, somebody's really, really green to it, like how long does it take just to gain a couple of the basics so that I can actually walk with more confidence down the street?
That's a great question. I would say that obviously self-defense should be lifelong for you, but learn the skills that we teach. They're basic. And I really, I go around the world and I teach it. And sometimes, if people pick it up within an hour. In an hour or two session, David was just there for 1 hour session. I make sure I ask everyone, did you leave with one skill that you didn't have before you got here? And everyone says yes. They're more aware, like, oh, I have a great skill now. And what I hope gets them excited is that they want to learn more and more and more. And so my goal in life is that you can change, the world by just changing one person at a time. And the way you do that is change yourself first, right? So if you keep giving them skills and they keep on having those skills in their arsenal, so the more and more skills they have, just the more confident they will feel. And I just think this is really lifelong, but very easy to learn. And we give them basic skills. And this is, I always tell students also that this isn't about anything you see in the movies or on TV. Those are all fun, and that's really why they're in the movies. There's no skill that I'm going to teach anyone that's going to take, a 300-pound man who's, 6'2", and pick him up over my head and throw him into a wall. That's just in the movies, and it's fun to watch that. But, reality, this is all based on reality and using your own body mechanics against the other person. And that's why I hurt David a little bit, not because I'm stronger, just smarter.
Yeah. Definitely. So, Karina, when I attended your class, you mentioned something that was very interesting to me. Could you summarize what is positive visualization?
Absolutely. As I always say, that you have to visualize that you will survive. I believe that if you've ever been, and unfortunately 1 in 4 women they will have some kind of aggression toward them in their life, and 1 out of 6 men will have some kind of aggression toward them in their life. And if they're still here to talk about it, then they're a survivor, right? Because you never know what someone else is willing to do or able to do. So if you've survived it, the visualization really is that you are a survivor and you're going to get out of that situation surviving. So I always help our students kind of think about, what is my plan of action and how am I going to escape?
Like I said, it's not all the time we have a guest like you on the show. So the big question is, like, how does somebody get started? Like, how do we get in touch with you? How do we get some training?
Thank you for asking. I have worked, like I said, for 30 years, and I've never said no to anyone who wants training. I've trained big companies. I've done training with just small groups. One time I had a dad call me and say, his daughter's going to college in 2 days, and I really want her to have some skills before she leaves.
So thank you, Karina, for all this. And what we're going to do, we're going to make sure that you're putting your email address and phone number, if you want, in the comments below, so the viewers can actually reach out to you directly that way. Thank you so much, Karina.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve. And we're ready to tackle this week a little better equipped.
See you guys next week.
See you guys next week.